In March, a slice of fake news went viral. People actually thought the Prime Minister had announced a nationwide shutdown of the internet to combat the spread of panic about COVID-19. Just on the face of it, that sounds absurd. But you don't know just how absurd an internet shutdown actually is until you felt it. Several parts of India have already seen shutdowns just this year. But anyway, I was saying, even the fact that people actually believe that the Prime Minister would shut down the internet speaks to this phenomenon that shutdowns have become a part of our national psyche. Think about it. Would you ever think the nation's panicked? We should probably cut off electricity. No, right? Then why do we think that about the internet? India's been the country with the most shutdowns for 2 years now. And the wild amount it's overused is a uniquely Indian problem. Last year, India saw 121 shutdowns. Venezuela, which was in second place, saw 12. At the heart of this, of course, is Kashmir, which saw the longest shutdown any democracy had ever seen. For 6 months, we watched as report after report of human rights violations came in. Except that for most Kashmiris, this isn't new news. They've been seeing internet shutdowns all the way back since 2012. Now, if only we'd been paying attention then. Today, most states across the country have seen a shutdown. That brought us to our big question. Why are we using shutdowns like they're running out? We're the world's biggest democracy. We call ourselves an IT superpower. Shouldn't we at least be an unlikely contender? Or is the better question, are we using shutdowns so much because we the people allow the government to? That possibility scared the shit out of us. So to get to the bottom of this, we went to meet Apar, who heads the Internet Freedom Foundation in India. Why is India right at the top of that list of countries of most shutdowns across the world?
I've been trying to think about it and I can't come up with a very clear reason. I think part of it is just historical. The Indian state has always controlled even pre-independence.
Alright, sorry, let's pause. By pre-independence, of course, Apar means the British. He's pointing to them because there are a few different laws today that let internet shutdowns happen in India. But their granddaddy is the all-controlling Telegraph Act, which the British introduced in 1885.
This is actually a colonial relic which is inconsistent with the principles of the Indian constitution, but were initially preserved when India gained independence, given the fragility of the union at that point in time.
So the British created laws to control and surveil us, which is something that colonizers do. Except that after independence, we took that same framework and just rolled with it. And the reason we're making such a big deal about this is because there's never been any proof anywhere in the world that shutdowns actually work. Here in India, the reason that we're given is that they're a preventive measure before any violence takes place. Except that a study of thousands of protests and riots across 1 year right here in India found that right after a shutdown, incidents of violence actually increase. A shutdown makes situations more volatile, more violent, and more unpredictable. So shutdowns don't do what they're supposed to do. And the harm that they've caused local businesses has cost our economy more than $4 billion in the last few years. That's enough money to pay back all the aid India took to fight COVID this year, or to build 2 more homes for the Ambanis. It's a tough choice. But we've bought into this legend that internet shutdowns work. And today, they might actually be the one thing politically uniting all of India. They're used by both the BJP and opposition parties like the Congress and the TMC. And any reason works. In Rajasthan, there was an internet shutdown to prevent cheating in an exam. Except the best part of the story is, it was an exam for police officers. It's because across the board, we seem to have inherited that British sentiment about ourselves, that we need control and that we need discipline. You've heard it and you've seen it. Every uncle says it. India needs discipline like China and Singapore. Indians are naturally rowdy. But what it also means is that we've come to think of the Indian government in a parental role, like this mama lion, there to be controlling and disciplining. Pew, which is a think tank, found exactly that when they surveyed Indians across the country. More Indians would prefer a militaristic government and an autocracy over a democracy. So we're repeating the patterns that we've been taught, despite the real-time damage that we're actually causing ourselves. This Jan, the Supreme Court took a look at exactly this when they declared on the shutdowns in Kashmir that they violate a fundamental right, our right to the freedom of speech. But they also flirted with an incredibly complex question. Should access to internet itself be a fundamental right? And yeah, in this country where food and water still aren't available for so many, access to the internet might seem like a bit of a far-fetched thing to be fighting for. Except that for millions, the internet is already a basic lifeline to access education, banking facilities, and food rations. And that's what you take away every time you have a shutdown. We've kind of got to be stubborn, like this baby.
मम्मी को लेट हो रहा है तुम अभी जाओ.
Sorry God, no Wi-Fi, no go.
Like that little guy, we've kind of just got to make up our minds. Internet shutdowns should not be synonymous with India. And we'll get there if we get this. It's not just a change in our laws that we need. It's a change in our idea of what we think we deserve.